Hi there, welcome back to the Binance Wyckoff session. Last week we talked about Binance Coin probably going to challenge the 750 mark, and it indeed passed that mark. So whoever successfully ride on this trade, congratulations. And now the big question is, what's next? Let's look at the charts. Here, we're looking at the weekly chart. As usual, we look at the bigger context and then we dive into the daily chart, because the daily is always governed by what's happening in the weekly. So previously we already put in this tag. Probably it's been staying there for 2 weeks now. We've been asking the question, is it the upthrust of the distribution for Binance Coin? Because we have seen the upthrust back in December, and the price has been struggling or like trading kind of horizontal between this purple line and the orange line. So the purple is basically, well, I would say it's more the green, because there was only like 7 weeks time that the price was above the green line. The green line was set by the buying climax, while the purple it's set by these activities in the middle. That's not a strong support as in, not as strong as in the white line. The white line is a long-term playground zone top. That's why when there was an automatic reaction from the buying climax as well as the sign of weaknesses, they all stayed above the white line. So the purple is more like the interim support that we've seen when the PSY built up to the buying climax, as well as the sign of weakness built up to the upthrust. And now, eventually, this purple line was where the build-up started, and eventually leading to the upthrust of the distribution that we are seeing. Given the fact that last week the candle closed above the where the upthrust closed, if I change it to a line chart, it'll be easier. That the orange line was where the upthrust closed, and last week it closed at 756. That was above where the upthrust was at 745. So that was the mark that I've put into the title last week, 750. And now we're having a narrow range movement. We have just started this week for less than 20 hours. The volume itself is kind of low because obviously it's getting close to the last all-time high at around 793 or 794. So anything further up, there needs to be very strong confidence or demand. Even though like the US passed the crypto bills or whatever, there's still uncertainty whether the industry is going to develop as quickly as people has like dreamed of, right? It's obviously the bills can support the industry growth, but having said that, that means also there would be new competition coming in to challenge these incumbents. So from the big picture perspective, if this is the upthrust of the distribution, and if the demand continues to grow, including Binance ecosystem itself, then obviously there's a chance that this price would go higher. Then let me change the color to a brighter one. I just want to, yeah, this one. So obviously the price has a potential to go higher than what was set back in December at 794 roughly, if all the positive things happen. But if not, if this ecosystem of Binance as well as blockchain totally is not going as quickly, or like funding isn't going in as quickly as people expect, then this would likely be where, or getting very close to where it's going to stop. So it's not a very clear picture right now, even though the environment seems encouraging. So back to the chart. Daily, Obviously, this upthrust has gone beyond the the ascending trend, this blue box. Similarly for weekly, we've seen this obviously gone outside of the box already, even though the price stayed above this orange line at around 744. There's a tendency for the price to come back to inside the box because of this drastic movement last week. So looking at the volumes, it looks like it's pretty healthy because of the much higher volume than before. Similar levels would lead us back to March this year. So here, while we adjust the upthrust upwards, there is a likelihood based on the Wyckoff method that it comes back to test first this bright blue box, the top of the trend, because this is an ascending line, so it will be higher along with time. So one option would be for the price to linger along this line and keep moving upwards. The other option is it comes down depending on when it happens, right? So first the light blue, then the yellow, and then eventually this blue ascending trend line. So there are 3 support lines right now, and the interesting part is the cross here. So by the time we get to around end of August, like the 3rd week of August, this will change. If the price ever comes down at that point, this darker blue line will be the first support instead of the yellow, so they switched positions. So if that's the case, that means this upward trend line, the darker blue line, will still hold. However, if it comes earlier, then there is a chance for the price to break the blue line and try to trade between this light blue box and the yellow box. So remember, we talked about one wedge and one triangle. So this upward trend line, and that started since April. Yeah. So it was broken briefly at late June, but after about 2 weeks it climbed back again. So there's an upward wedge that formed. Last week I talked about this, and there's this triangle over here. So one is near October time, one is December. So depending on when the price comes in and to which wedge or which triangle it gets into, will be heading towards different scenarios. As of now, after upthrust, there may be retracements, and those are the 3 support lines that I just covered. So 2 ascending support lines and 1 static at around $730. So don't be surprised if there's a bit of retracement while the uptrend continues. So a little bit long for Binance Coin this week.